Two candidates have emerged as the 2024 Edo governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party after parallel primaries were conducted in the state. While foremost lawyer and investment banker Asue Godalo emerged as the governorship candidate of the party at the Samuel Ogbamudia Stadium venue, Deputy Governor of the state, Philip Shaibu, emerged as the factional candidate in a parallel governorship primary election earlier conducted at another location. However, Chief Returning Officer of the Edo PDP Guba primaries and the Governor of Zamfara State, Alhaji Dauda Lawal, declared Ighodalo winner of the primary, having scored 577 votes against Philip Shaibu with 1 vote. Now, to react to this development, we're now being joined by PDP National Publicity Secretary Debo Ologunagba. Good afternoon. Good to have you join us on Newsday.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. It's nice to be here.
Well, it's very nice to have you here as well. Now, what more can you tell us, about the emergence of 2 winners at your party's primary in Edo State? Some delegates alleged that they were denied accreditation at the main venue, leading them to conduct a parallel election. How true is this?
Well, thank you very much for having me. And I think the starting point is to establish, 1, the laws, the pronouncement by court, the guidelines of the party, and of course the Electoral Act. For a primary election to take place, in line with the Electoral Act of 2022, you would have 3 ad hoc delegates. The starting point is the fact that it's an establishing law that it is the national body of a political party that conducts congresses and primary elections. And so from that premise, we can then have a detail of what happened with our primary election as well as the delegate election that happened before then. Now, part of the process is this, that to have delegates, adult delegates, 3 per ward, to participate in the primary election, the party set up its own guidelines and rules. And in accordance with the processes established, what the PDP did was to advertise the date, the venue, and of course, particularly using INEC accredited centers for the delegate election. And on that date, specifically on the 3rd of February, we issued a public notice detailing all that is required to accomplish that. And that was done. And the election took place, and 3 ad hoc delegates emerged across the state. There are 192 wards in Edo State. On the day set initially, there were 2 local governments that, because of some disturbances, it didn't happen. It was repeated. And so before the primary election, the full complement of the delegates were available. Now, in our process, because we know that the election can be very emotive, people can get emotional, and there could be challenges. Embedded in our program is that there's appeal process. In the delegate election, there was appeal panel headed by Senator Dixon, the immediate past governor of Bayelsa. And in their judgment, after the finding from consideration of all the petitions that was sent before them, they declared that the process was substantially in compliance with the rules and the law. Thereafter, we set a date for the primary election to elect by the delegates, as provided by law, who will be the standard and the flag bearer for our party for the September governorship election in Edo State. And in line with our processes, because we're methodical in whatever we do as a party, that's why you don't have the crisis you find in other parties. We went ahead to make sure that we have a free, fair, and credible process. We made everything public. And what we did was to again advertise in 2 dailies, the Vanguard and the This Day, and this is one of that publication, wherein we stated the venue, the date, the time, the electoral committee of the party, headed by the governor of Zamfara State, assisted by the governor of Delta State, and other member, Credibly Nigerian, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Senator James Manager, as secretary of that committee, to conduct that process in line with our procedures. In addition to that, we publish all the names of the delegates, the ad-hoc delegates that emerged from the previous delegate election. And they went in there, they were accredited on the day of the election, and they went to vote. This fact about people being prevented from accreditation, well, it's news to me because we didn't get that report. In addition to this process, because we want to have a free process that allows that goes through a due process, we set up another appeal panel to consider the outcome of the primaries. In the unlikely event that people had petition or concerns, again they sent in a petition. But the petition that was sent before the appeal panel of the primary was substantially complaining about the delegate election, which of course had been ratified by an appeal panel previously. So we do not and we did not have two parallel primary elections because the one that the national body conducted was at the lawn tennis court of Ogbe Stadium. It was well stated in this publication, and we urge every aspirant, delegates, or stakeholders to take note, and this is a public knowledge, they are aware. If there was any other one in another location, of course, in line with the pronouncement even by court, that recognizes that it's the national body that actually conducts primary election and congresses for a party, of course, you know that there can't be another one other than the one that was conducted at the Ogbe Stadium by the party.
And even though you have just obviously explained this in very deep detail, for those in the back who might not have been following, just to be very clear, exactly who is the PDP recognizing as the primary candidate?
Again, I think the question is who is the PDP recognizing? It is the question to be who emerged through the processes of the PDP in the transparent process.
Well,
that candidate is Dr. Asue Ighodalo.
All right.
That was one that have emerged from the primary election conducted by the National Working Committee of the party in line with the Constitution, in line with the Electoral Act, in line with our processes, which was transparent. So the candidate of the party for the election of September 2024 in a Edo State governorship election is Dr. Asue Ighodalo.
In the meantime, the Deputy Governor of Edo State, Philip Shaibu, is insisting that he is the authentic candidate of the PDP in the state, or else the party will not have any candidate in the forthcoming election. How would you react to this?
Well, I hate to join issue with His Excellency Philip Shaibu. This is a man that I know is a good party man. I recognize in a party contest, emotion, interest will conflict and people will feel one way or the other. But I think he knows that this election in Edo State is beyond the individual contesting. It's about the people of Edo State. It's about the situation in Nigeria today. It's that people are dying. The absence of governance, particularly at the federal level and in APC control states. Edo State has been a beneficiary of dividend of democracy under Governor Obaseki by records of what he has done. And I know His Excellency Philip Shaibu will put the interest of the Edo people above personal interest. And I do agree that as a party man, he will recognize, and everyone will recognize the need for us to come together, not just for ourselves, but for the interest of the people, so that they can continue to have this dividend of democracy that is already there. And we have mentioned severally, there are landmark projects by the governor that are there. We have recognized that the biggest challenge for this country today are two things: the welfare of the people and security. And security drives the welfare. And because the governor recognizes the fact that this is a very key thing, he has just established a very ultra-modern kind of control center for security monitoring all over the state, which means when there are events happening real-time online, they can react to it positively. And with that, when people can feel secure, then the farmers can go to the farms. Then they can produce. Then we can talk about food being in abundance so that people can now begin to pursue their happiness like they have always been under the PDP states. You can take a sample across the country and you go there, PDP states have become oases of development across the country. So we won't join issue with His Excellency Philip Shaibu because he's a good party man. He will know that there could be emotion in all of these. But again, what is key about PDP is the fact that we have this capacity. We have what I call a very robust internal dispute resolution mechanism. So that we are going to go back there because that's where we belong right now. We're doing this not just because of the candidates or the aspirants, but because of the people of Edo State. Having regards to the challenges we have in this country today, the pain that people go through, and if we can get Edo State away from the web of the crisis, then that is one too nice for the country to bear. So we are going to begin to activate our processes to allow for reconciliation, which of course have started. I don't go on TV to come and talk about what we're doing behind the scene. We will be talking, we will continue, and the NWC, the National Working Committee, is already activated in that regard, and we have elders of the party. We are sure that we will get by, and in the interest of the Edo people, especially since the National Working Committee has conducted a free, fair, credible process that was telecast live. It was live. All the processes from accreditation to voting to counting, and INEC was there. These are the requirements of the law. INEC monitored, INEC reported, security agencies reported. We have done credibly well when it comes to that primary election process in Edo State.
Well, the internal resolution mechanisms of the PDP, I'm not sure about specifically in Edo State, but we have been watching it falter for months. Hopefully it's stronger in this particular situation. But there are some external mechanisms that are used for resolution, and that's the courts. Do you anticipate that that's where Philip Shaibu will be taking this?
Well, again, I don't want to speculate about whether someone goes to court or not. When anybody feels aggrieved, the Constitution provides for you to ventilate your concern. But like I said earlier, His Excellency Philip Shaibu is a party man. He's a comrade. He's a man who knows that the interest of the people, for which he has been fighting over the years and known for, should supersede any other consideration. However, in my opening remarks, I said to you that the courts at the highest level, the Supreme Court, had stated in several plethora of cases that it is the national body, the National Working Committee of a political party that conducts primaries and congresses. And that was exactly what happened in this matter, in line with the provisions of the Constitution, with the Electoral Act, with our guidelines and our rules and regulations, and that was what happened. What is more interesting is the fact that every of the steps have been done transparently, fairly, and freely. And that's why I kept showing you these publications. Each of the way, there are public notices about what we're going to do, where it's going to happen, where the election will take place, who are the participants, who are the delegates. Those are the basic ingredient. This does not guarantee that the people will not feel aggrieved. But when they feel aggrieved, of course, they go through the channels that are available legally, which is what we provided by the appeal panel at the level of the ad hoc delegate congresses as well as the primary. And of course, we went through all of this. So this is without prejudice to anybody's right to go. But again, going to court, in considering that decision, the interest of the Edo people should matter. And I believe that, and I trust that His Excellency Shaibu Philip will do that which is needful for the party and for the people of Edo State.
Well, very well said. Now, you talked about a robust internal dispute resolution mechanism. You know, I've heard that before. In fact, saying that, it just gave me some form of deja vu. At the national level, we've seen how that worked out. It's obviously not robust enough. So I'm wondering now, what's the assurance that some members of your party, the PDP, will not team up with the opposition to sabotage the PDP like it happened during the presidential election, especially as it seems they would not be punished afterwards?
I'm excited about this your analogy. What are the assurances I have? The assurance is that we have a robust mechanism from within. The fact, you see, reconciliation and resolution of dispute is not a 100-meter dash. It's a marathon. And because interests are involved, emotions are involved, we try to manage that. Yes, we may not have been too successful in the past, but the fact that you are not that successful then does not mean you should stop doing what needs to be done. The NWC have started processes behind the scene. Look, even in war, people negotiate. Now, Ukraine and Russia, even in the heat of this battle, they're still exchanging prisoners of war. What does that mean? It means they're talking. So our party continues to talk because this is a party that has structures, that have a system, that has policies, that have mission. We are determined to work, and that has already started. Like I said earlier, I won't come to the clear light and tell you this is what we're doing, because that will be my trade secret, and I don't want to divulge that to the public. All right. But we're confident that, yes, we'll come together in the interest of the people to go win for Edo people so that they can continue to enjoy the dividend democracy and the improvement of their lives and the pursuit of happiness opportunities that are available right now in Edo State, courtesy of the Governor Godwin Obaseki.
With Asue Ighodalo officially as the PDP candidate, what does he originally bring to the table that the party is excited about?
Yes, I'm happy. That's the question you have even in your intro. In introducing Dr. Asue Ighodalo, you describe him as a lawyer, a banker, a financial expert, an investor, a boardroom guru. So those are the qualities he's bringing in. Because again, what we have found now is that competence will begin to determine who goes to a political position in this country. It shouldn't be the job for the boys. And you can relate that to what's happening at the national level. When you put job for the boys and the ball boys, then we find this crisis. When you find people that are intellectuals who have done it, who are experts practically in this, and if you listen to his acceptance speech, he said, look, I'm going to assemble the best brain, young, old, middle, and bring them in so that we can galvanize the state. Why? He's saying, I will go for the best brain. That's what PDP is known for. You recall in 1999, when President Obasanjo came in, what did he do? He went looking for Okonjo-Iweala. He went looking for Okwesilesi. He went looking for the president of ADB right now, Akinwumi, and several other people, young people, who came in to help to pilot. That's why we were able to get away from our debt overhang. That's why we were able to maintain a stable economy. That's why we became the destination point for investors worldwide. That's why the capital market was one of the best in the world in terms of appreciation. That's why we have the richest men in Africa, in Nigeria, because there was enabling environment for the economy to thrive. Because the leader then brought in the best team. That's what Ighodalo will be bringing in, because he knows it. He's an expert in investment banking, as a lawyer, as a business person, as a boardroom guru. You can look no further than a better candidate for I don't say at this time, taking over from another economist. You will recall that what we have right now was predicted by Governor Godwin Obaseki in 2022, and the whole world was abusing him. Today we are here. He said, this is unsustainable. Everybody is looking away from oil. We're going to oil. In another 20, 30 years, we probably will be having challenges even with the oil we have, because people are going green. And that is what we need to look at. People that can look forward and plan for the future. Not people that will say, job for the boys. Put there because I know him. Chronism, family trait, that's not what we're looking for. And then we need a blend of technocrats in governance and then help to bring the public and private partnership to work. That's what we're looking for. That's what Asue Ighodalo is bringing to the table because of his track record. And we believe he's been in banking. He's led banks that have been successful. He led brewery that have been successful. What can you ask for? We know we have a good candidate, and I'm sure the Edo people will be better for that.
Now, just before we let you go, you talked about the PDP, or you talked about Edo State having been a beneficiary of the dividends of democracy under the PDP. But some critics, of the current administration believe that the governor has been busy fighting political enemies in his second term rather than actually governing the state. And there are fears, that other candidates, for instance, Monday Okpebolo of the APC and, of course, Olumide Akpata of the LP would offer a very good challenge, to the PDP in the forthcoming election. Your take on that?
Yeah, the beauty of democracy is that it allows for dissent. I have my views, you have your view. And then we cross-fertilize these ideas, and then the better one takes precedent. What we need to do is to look at what he has done on ground. What is the Human Development Index in Edo State? I just gave an example. The primary purpose of government is the welfare and the security of the people. And for you to have welfare, you must have security. Now, look at what we're going through today. Food insecurity. You recall that under the APC government of President Buhari, they came here. They started a process. They have this phony program called Anchor Borrower Scheme that was midwifed by CBN. Very sadly so, there's nowhere in the world where you have the CBN being involved in retail banking. But in Nigeria, they were involved in lending directly to farmers. And they came out with this false narrative that, yes, because of that phony program which was riddled with corruption, now we are beginning to see it, is unveiling and unraveling before our very eye, that there have been so much money, food produced by reason of those interventions. And to demonstrate that fraud, the APC brought in triangular wooden woods, and then they placed rice on top of it, and they gleefully described it as pyramid of rice. That turned out to be pyramid of lies. Now, in Edo State, if you transmit that, what they did, what Edo State has done is, so look, let's attack the issue of security. And they are just commissioned a state-of-the-art technological center where it's a command and control center where you can view whatever is happening throughout the state real-time, online, at the same time. So when there are challenges, you can begin to attack that. When people have a feeling that, yes, they can be secure in their farm, they will go to the farms and they will produce. There will be more food. Those are the issues you see. Go and see his intervention in education, in the healthcare, where he has registered more people in the primary healthcare scheme, where people can pay small little amount in insurance premium because of the volume, and people can access it. These are the innovations that are required. Go around the PDP states and you find this evidence there. Go to Akwa Ibom State, the arrest agenda is touching people. You go to Oyo State, you see construction of road. You go to Osun State, it's a one huge construction site. When you do construction, you are reflecting the economy because many people will be involved. Bricklayers will be there, artisans will be there, people supplying sand, granite will be there. That is where you talk about dividend democracy. Look no further than PDP State, and more importantly, look no further than Edo State. They are there on ground. Human development, capital development, infrastructure development, security challenges, and attacking that, and the people, which is very important. Like I said, we expect that people will say, yes, like you said, critics. Criticism is allowed in government, that's why we have democracy.
PDP National Publicity Secretary Debo Ologunagba, thank you so much for joining us on Newsday today.